Hello guys, good afternoon, good morning, good evening for wherever you're watching us. This is your girl Dance Okoyemi and welcome to Love Over 100 Global. Yay! Alright, so it's been a while, I know, it's been weeks since I posted a video, but then God has been cooking, everyone's been noticing me. So yes, this episode on His Worded Words, or should I say the Godly Zoomers, because we're actually changing our name from His Worded Words to the Godly Zoomers, right? God has been placing that thing in my mind or in my spirit for a very long time, and I felt it was for another thing entirely, but I cannot juggle too many things, so it was actually for this, and I'm not ready to reveal the secret behind it. I will just you guys deeper. So welcome to another episode, or should I say the first episode on the Godly Zoomers. So today, something I have to say, something I actually experienced, and I actually came to the light of this, I think, some weeks ago, and I think I'll just give a scenario to explain or to buttress my point so you can understand very well. Now, I was in a meeting, right, and there was somebody in that meeting that came looking moody. I think he was having some family issues and all of that, and it was as though he was distracting the meeting, and everyone was like, what's doing this person say? What's doing you? And I'll take person out. Okay, talk person, what's wrong with you? And he explained to me, right? And with the word of God and all of that, I motivated as I could do. The little I could do, I did it. So we had the meeting again. The person also behaved like that. I think it happened for 3 times. And the 3rd time, someone was complaining. I was like, is it the only one? This is that. What is wrong with you? Do you know what I'm facing in my own house? Do you know what I'm facing in my own house too? If you're coming, you're going to be distracted. You're distracting the meeting. We would have gone far, but this and that and that. We can't go find the meeting, not because of this is how you're behaving. And I actually had to make them understand that there are different thresholds to pain, and this is my point tonight. I've realized that the way I'm going to react to pain is not the same way somebody else will react to pain, and because probably you are in the same shoe with the person and you have better reactions, does not make you a better person. It just means that you have been exposed to light. The difference in your reactions is light. And I can cite an example from the scripture. Jesus and Peter, when Jesus was arrested and Peter was angry, and he cut off one of the soldiers' ear, and Jesus gummed it back, right, literally. And normally you'd be like, what's doing Peter said? He gets angry too much and all of that. I saw the difference between Jesus' reaction and Peter's reaction is actually light. All right, so I can come from a family where we don't have much, where we are struggling, and maybe it is not even a happy home, or maybe it's a polygamous family. I so many things are going on, Nigeria factor, Africa factor, and you can also come from that kind of family and come outside and you're like, the whole world wants to follow you. You're like feeling lonely, feeling rejected, feeling dejected. You are behaving as though you want to die, and I can come out and be smiling and all and be happy despite everything I might have gone through, what I'm going through, and that does not give me the leverage to talk to the person anyhow and say, are you the only one? Is this the first time you will be in this issue? You're not even the first person. People have been in the same shoe and they passed it. What's doing you? Why are you doing like a baby? Can't you jail? Come on, stand up, Jai. Can share one you can, something like that. And I'll be like, okay, this is not how it should be, right? The difference between my reaction and such person's reaction is what? Is light. So the level of light you have as a child of God will determine your reactions to situations. Now, example is in 1 Samuel 30 verse 6. The story of David and the Amalekites, when the Amalekites came and they took all the goods of the land, took the women and the children, right? In verse 6 of that chapter, it says, and David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, right? Every man for his sons and for his daughters, but David encouraged himself in the Lord. The soul of all the people was grieved. It was not their fault that their souls were grieved, but there is a level of light that David had of the God that backed him up, right? That is quite different from the level of light that they had. They were just following David as the leader, but they didn't have the experiences David had. They didn't have the enlightenment David had. And this adulterous woman that was to be stoned to death, when they wanted to stone her to death, they were a bit justified, because that is the judgment that is passed to people like that in those days. And Jesus said, if you've not committed a sin, cast the first stone here. He had to find a way to make them feel remorseful and be like, okay, this person and I are not really different in terms of committing sins. He didn't say that, why are you stoning her? Are you in a shoe? This is that. If you're in a shoe, you know what you would have done too. No, but he used wisdom. If you've not sinned, or if you've not committed a sin, cast the first stone. So this is how we should behave as Christians, and I've learned that the level of light is different. A teenage person can get pregnant. That is even one of the examples I want to make. Can get pregnant and come out and probably rejected by family members, by friends, and all of that, and she comes out of it and she becomes a better person, right? She builds herself up, and in the future you never know that, oh, this one got pregnant out of red luck, right? It is not, the yesterday is no longer in her today. Why? Another teenage girl can also get pregnant and find herself unable to come out of situations like that, discouraged, feeling dejected over the years and all of that, because there is a level of light that you might have that she does not have. So what do? You bring your brother, you bring your sister to that light. So when they are coming outside looking unhappy, looking sad, and you are happy, and like, what do? Bring my sister to that light, bring my brother to that light. So help one another. And when you see someone that wants to commit suicide, all those people that say, okay, everybody that is Nigeria is doing everybody. What's going on in Nigeria and she, oh, they're raw. Are you little in here? Nigerians no, it's not bad, but at times where we need to like understand people's situations, understand that our reactions to situations, circumstances, and life are very different. We are not wired the same way. And I think I have another example here. Job and his wife. That's a very good example, right? Whatever happened to Job also affected his wife, even though the balls and the afflictions were mostly on Job. And it got to a point that the wife told Job that curse God and die. If she was the one that was probably in that Job situation, like exact, she would have cursed God and die. And many times talk about Job, we are blaming that even the wife could not stand by him. She was saying curse God and die. Job had a personal experience with God, and it was obvious that he had a relationship with God, a good working relationship with God, even more than his wife. So probably if she has also experienced God the way Job experienced God, maybe she would not have made that statement. So we need to understand that light is very, very essential in this kingdom, and this is one thing that Apostle Joshua Selman used to emphasize in all his message. So what governs your reactions to situations of life is light. I can get a result today, and I'm probably a school result. Maybe I'm expecting a 74, and you get this, and I get a 69, and I'm like, okay, this is very, very annoying. But like, okay, let's just, and someone can get a 69. I'm very, very depressed. Oh, that lecturer is giving me A. Oh, that lecturer is very wicked. Oh, that lecturer is this, that lecturer is that, and it's very, very moody and all of that. And I'm like, are you little here? So there's a way you can feel that, why is this person feeling like this? At least you had a B. At least no, this spot is even a very hard because you still have a B. But this person is like, no. I think you need to like, okay, brother, calm down. The difference in your reaction is what? Light. If you have seen the light, I know this meme on social media, I have seen the light now. If you see the light, you know that yes, when someone reacts somehow to a situation and then reacts unpleasantly, and you're like, not be that small thing. See, let me tell you something, there's no small thing. We need to understand that we are all humans and we are all wired different ways, right? Our level of reactions to circumstances, to situations are very different. Just like Peter reacted to that circumstances, right? Even when the children were coming to Jesus and the disciples rebuked them, Jesus understood. Jesus is the light of the world, so he had much knowledge than the disciples, far. So when they were rebuking the children, it was based on the level of light they had then, not because of they didn't know what they were doing or something, not because of they were wicked, but because of the light they had then. And Jesus said, suffer not the little children to come to me. And even when Paul and Peter had the issue of this Greek and Jew stuff, Paul was surprised and had to meet Peter. And Peter, on the other hand, was whatever he did then was based on the level of light he had. When God asked Peter to eat from in a vision, he told God that he has never eaten any unclean thing, and God said, don't ever call anything I have unclean. And God had to do that because God had to reveal him to a light before he met Cornelius. If he had met Cornelius without that vision, probably be like, I don't have anything to do with you, you're not a this, you're not a Jew, and all of that. But it was quite a very different thing. God had to show him, so he was revealed to a level of light. So what am I saying? Light is important in this kingdom. If I come to your DM crying and say, oh, this thing happened, and you're like, it happened to me a few years ago now, and then I'm not the first person, I will block you. I will block you. I understand sometimes you have to be strict with people, but that is if you have tried your effort. You have tried every effort in like making them understand that no, auntie, you know the year word. It's a different thing. But please let us know how to talk to people. Let's know that people react to different things, different ways to pay. You can be struggling and trying to hustle for a living, and you can still be happy. While someone is hustling and is not happy, moody and all of that, that does not mean you are better than the person. The better part of you just has a better light than the person, has a greater light. So what do? You bring the person to that light, bring the person to the word of God and say, no, there is more to this. So that's what I have to say. Light is essential in this kingdom. Draw your brother to light, draw your sister to light, and do not compare yourselves to anybody. We all have different threshold for pain. We all have different threshold for situations. We all have different threshold for life, for circumstances, and all of that. So I hope you've learned something. Anyways, do not hesitate to like my video, comment, let us know your thoughts concerning what I just said, and share so that everyone can see this. And comment with light is essential to live a successful life, to live a victorious life over Satan, sin, death, hell, worries, and what have you. Thanks for watching. See you next week Friday. Bye.